Welcome back to Epic Libations, everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to make the most legendary drink of all time. That's right, mead. Extremely easy and way too expensive to buy at the store. So let's get to it. Oops, I almost forgot. To make mead, we're going to need some honey. But not this much. And there we go, 3 pounds. Now we add 1 gallon of water. And we stir. Okay, now we want to get an initial gravity reading. This will give us an idea of how much alcohol we can actually get in this mead. Put it in our little cylinder, drop in our hydrometer, and you want to fill this all the way to the top. And then suck off all the bubbles so you can see the lines there. Just like that. Okay. Now I can spin this around and see our initial gravity reading is about 1.080. There we go. All right, the next step, get yourself a little thermometer here, some hot water. And this is how we mix in our yeast. You want the temperature to be right around 95 to 100. So I add some hot water. Little bit of our batch here, and then the yeast. Today the yeast I'm using is K1-V1116. It's supposed to be legendary for the mead making process. Now what you want to do is give this a little stir. Stir, stir, stir. Get that yeast all mixed up really good in here. That's just gonna make it super easy to get all throughout the batch of mead. So they have no problem saturating the entire batch at once. That warm water really helps them completely dissolve in here. There we go. Just like that. Now we dump in our yeast. Good to go. Okay, our next step is our yeast nutrient. Got our warm water here. I'm using Fermento today. Yeast really love that. That's going to make sure the yeast stay healthy while fermenting our mead. Since honey is very natural it doesn't have a lot of stuff to feed the yeast as it produces alcohol. So this is gonna help it out, keep it nice and healthy for the next few weeks that our batch is fermenting. Right. Nice and dissolved. So I'm using 2.5 grams of yeast and 1.5 grams of nutrient, Mead O. There we go, all mixed, and dump it in. There we go. Now I'm going to give this one more good stir to get everything mixed thoroughly. Add some oxygen in there for some more food. There we go. And we got our lid, popper. We got our airlock. Plug that in nice and snug. Put a little sanitizer in there. That'll start fermenting. That'll start bubbling. And we're gonna have us some mead. It really is that easy, everybody. I'm gonna let this ferment for about 3 or 4 weeks. Take another gravity reading, see where we're at, and get to taste it. Don't forget to visit us, epiclibations.com. You can get the links I have there for every single thing I use, so you can use the quality products and you don't have to search online for them for 3 weeks like I had to. These are the best products I've found that work the best. Everything is available, epiclibations.com. Until next time. All right, everybody. It's been 30 days fermenting. It's time to take another gravity reading here and see where we're at. Everything's sterilized, of course. Actually, I take that back. It's definitely not sterilized. It's actually sanitized. People often make that mistake. To sterilize all of this, I would have to boil it in over 200-degree water for like 20 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it is to kill 100% of all signs of life at the microscopic level, and that's definitely not what I did. But when you sanitize, just like when you use hand sanitizer, you basically mix up the sanitized solution and you use a spritz bottle on everything, or dip it in or let it soak in and take it out, and then just let it run off or dry off on its own. You don't rinse it off with water. That defeats the whole purpose. So, as I restated, everything is sanitized, making it lickable and clean at a safe level. And it looks like we are now at 1.010. So, starting at, if you remember, I think it was 1.080 or 0.85. That would mean this is not done fermenting 100%, but that's okay, because I'm gonna call this good. Matter of fact, with that fermentation not 100% complete, this stuff probably tastes like dessert right now. Oh yeah. Oh, just the right amount of sweetness. So I'm going to show you what we do next. It's called racking. We're going to rack this into a new container because it's a whole bunch of sediment down here in the bottom. All that dead yeast has sank and is resting on the bottom. So we're going to get that off and get it in a nice clean container. So let's do that right now. Okay, so got my new clean container. Got me a little auto siphon. As you can see, the sanitizer is still all over this thing, so that's good. We're gonna elevate this. There we go. That way the siphon comes out a lot easier. Put that in there. Put this in here. And there we go. And now that'll drain down perfect. Now, like I said, what this is gonna do, all this residual sediments, I guess you could call everything that's all the junk floating around in this jar and sitting on the bottom, this being nice and clean, we're gonna let it sit in here with another lid and an airlock for another week. Maybe it might ferment that last little bit, maybe not. But the most important thing is it'll be slowly but surely even more clear and more perfect. That's the whole process or purpose of racking. Almost done. Give it a little tilt. And there we go. That's all I'm gonna get out of there. Okay. As you can see, that's a lot of sludge on the bottom. So I'll be able to wash that now. We can seal this up with a new sanitized airlock. We're gonna let that sit another at least 2 days, maybe 3 or 4, depending on what I got going on. And then we're gonna make some epic mead. All right, everybody, the moment of truth. Let this sit for another week. Check the reading, not much change, but there's no real residue at the bottom anymore. It's getting nice, almost see-through coloring. So it's finally time for the last step. Now, a lot of people are worried about this fermenting a little bit more when they put it in their bottles. And of course, worried about the bottle exploding, because that's a thing. So to prevent that, they can add chemicals, they can purify it through filters, or some people even cook it. They lower this jar into boiling water for like 20 minutes or something crazy to basically pasteurize it, cooking it to be for sure that you're killing the yeast. We're definitely not doing that. And then also what people do is they add things like malic acid flavor, a little bit of tingle on the tongue. They add potassium sorbate, hopefully prevent the yeast from continuing to ferment in the bottles. Maybe a little tartaric acid, different mouthfeel. Or potassium metabisulfite, another basically preventing the fermentation process. We're not doing any of that. You know why? Because that's not epic. This is epic. This, if you can read that, is overproof rum. Now, overproof rum, if you don't know, is not good. I mean, this is a very high quality overproof rum, plantation, very, very good, nice blend of 4 or 5 different of their rums and aged. But this is so powerful. You can't sip on this. It's not a thing. So if you're making like a tiki drink and you want that real strong rum flavor, you only need like a 1/4 ounce of this and you're good. You don't need a full ounce and a half like you typically would a Jamaican rum. But not only is this overproof, 69% alcohol, but it's also got all the characteristics that we love about rum. It's got those tannins from aging in barrels. It's got those sweet notes, those vanilla notes, those, you know, a lot of people have their different descriptions of a Jamaican rum, old traditional blends of rum. But this is what we're gonna do. Good to the last drop. That is beautiful. I'm going to give that a little stir. So now, what I've essentially done here is several things. It came out to 11% alcohol mead. This being 69%. Run the math, run the numbers, a little calculator, that comes out to just over 20% alcohol in this. So if there's yeast still in here, they're dead. They're not living in 20-something% alcohol. That's not a thing. So I don't need to cook this to pasteurize it. I don't need to add a bunch of chemicals. And more importantly, I don't need to add anything for flavor. I don't need to put chunks of wood in here. I don't need to add different flavors of acids. I'm getting all the wonderful characteristics of this rum. Stopping the fermentation all at the same time. Now it's not going to taste like rum. And it might not even taste like mead anymore, depending on how strong the flavors are in this. I'm going to let this sit for at least 48 hours minimum. Let it all settle. Let it fully 100% for sure kill anything, any yeast strain in there still, and see if anything settles down on the bottom. I might even cold crash it, put this in the fridge, let it chill. And a lot of people will argue, well, it's not mead anymore. It's no longer, you can no longer call that a mead. That's true. I'm not saying this is rum mead. I'm saying I took epic mead with some epic rum and I made hopefully the most genius cocktail ever. Stay tuned to find out. Epic libations. Till next time. All right, everybody. Today's the day. Moment of truth. I let this cold crash for 3 days. Then I racked it again. There was a little bit of residue at the bottom. And now we get to taste it. This, just to remind you, is the rum fortified mead. So it's no longer rum, it's no longer mead. It's hopefully something even better. So there was no need to put chemicals in here, pasteurize it, cook it for half an hour, none of that. That rum has killed 100% of anything in there. It's right or just over 20% alcohol, just over a little over a gallon, maybe a gallon and a quarter. Oh, still smells like mead to me. Yeah, I can still smell honey. not a rum smell, but it's something added. You could tell that there is something added to the mead just by smelling it. Here goes. Oh, wow. This is why you home brew right here. I don't even know how this is possible, but it's like pineapple juice. I immediately get huge flavor of pineapple. I definitely never put pineapple in here. Oh, it's so smooth. The mead has completely killed that overproof rum. There's subtle notes of rum. If you're a rum drinker, you like rum, you're gonna know there's rum in here. But there's no burn or harshness of alcohol whatsoever. It's unbelievably smooth. But I'm very surprised how much it still tastes like mead. I really thought that overproof rum was just gonna basically annihilate that light honey flavor of our mead, but the mead has prevailed. You can certainly tell this was made from mead. Oh yeah. Huge success. I will be making this again. But for our next batch, we'll mix it up. We won't be using rum next time. Stay tuned. Epic Libations. Check out the website, epiclibations.com. You can get epic recipes like this and everything you need for an epic home bar. You're going to want to make this, trust me. I'll have the recipe there for you. Until next time.